Okay, I guess we can get started. Welcome to the Rubin Science Assembly. Today we'll be, I'm Gloria Fonseca Alvarez. I'm going to be your host along with Jeff Carlin, and we're going to be talking about how to retrieve and visualize alerts using the Rubin Science platform. A few announcements. The Rubin Community Workshop is pretty soon, in a few weeks. It'll be at Menlo Park, and you can check out the website. I think you can still register virtually. Um, but yeah, and we recently had the Rubin Data Academy, and you can find the recordings for all of the sessions at the Data Academy website. You'll see here on the right the schedule for the science assemblies in 2026. We're nearing the end. Next week, we'll have a drop-in office hours. And then the next session after that is canceled, and then we'll have the Rubin Community Workshop. And then after that, we have some special events that I'll talk about in a little bit. Some other things that are going on right after the Rubin Community Workshop, there'll be Rubin 2036 Opportunities for Discovery. You can contact Andres Plazas for if you're interested in attending virtually. There'll be LSST at Europe, at Latin America, and Asia conferences in 2026 and 2027. Then I think that's tomorrow on Friday, July 10th. There is the deadline for funding from the LSST Discovery Alliance for workshop funding. Now Rubin Observatory has a users committee. The role of the users committee is to solicit feedback from the community about the Rubin data products and communicate this feedback to the Rubin operations director. And actually, the Rubin Observatory is currently looking for new members of the users committee. We do encourage self-nominations, and these will be due on August 7th. And we have a community forum post where you can find all the details about what information you will need and who to send it to. Now, Link Frameworks has office hours. We'll post these slides so you can find all the info. You can click on all the links there, but this is a resource that is also available to you. Now, the one of the most exciting news recently, the LSST has officially started. There are a lot of already some cool things that you can check out, like there's like new versions of the what do you call it? The ways to explore the new data. There was also an announcement. Yeah, so that's really exciting. Another super exciting thing is that the data preview 2 will be coming out on July 27th. That overlaps with the Rubin Community Workshop. But there's been updates to RTN 11, which tells you all of the plans for early science. And you can see here the sky coverage for the DP2 and sort of like what the expected depths will be. We will have some special assemblies for this to go with this release. There'll be a session at the Rubin Community Workshop, so if you're attending, you can get started right away. But we'll also have, after the RCW, we'll have some sessions at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday, where you can get hands-on help from Rubin staff. Okay. Now, as a reminder, we do have some resources to keep up with the life status of the survey. There's a page in the for scientists page on observatory.org that has some useful links, like the schedule viewer. You can see what's scheduled for the next 24 hours, for example, or you can see what has been observed in the past. There's also the alert stream status, and I showed here on the right what that looks like. It's just a little dashboard that you can see how many alerts have gone out in different time intervals, which is super relevant for today. There's also nightly summaries and so on. But yeah, so today we'll be talking about alerts. Now, as a reminder, there are 8 different alert brokers that receive the alerts and distribute them to the community, and they all have different use cases. But these are actually like your resource in order to find alerts. What we're going to see today is just how to retrieve the contents for one alert. So yeah. And as also as a reminder, these alerts are world public, so anybody can have access to them. This is just showing what you might expect from an alert packet. And I'll show you the packet as well. So maybe it'll make more sense, but you'll get a unique identifier. And this is based on the DIA source ID of whatever, DIA source triggered the alert. You'll get some scheduler metadata. And then also the DA source record that triggered this alert, what DA object is associated to. If it's a solar system object, you'll get a solar system object record. If it's also a solar system object record, you also get data from the MPC orbits. And then you also get four source records from the past 12 months. So this will be like your light curve for the last year. And then you also get some stamps for the visit difference image in template coads. And all of this documentation for the alerts is in the prompt products database. Sorry, promptproducts.lsc.io documentation page. And this is still in construction, but it already has a lot of useful resources, including the tutorials we'll show today. But first, I wanted to show you some examples of the particular alert that we'll be retrieving today. So I'm going to show you the alert and the Antares Broker Explorer. And I'm going to put these. Oh, okay. So Jeff already put the links to the slides, but I'm going to put the link here as well. So this is where I just went. Might take a second. So this is the Alerce LSST Explorer. So this, if you go back to the actual Explorer, you'll be able to like query for whatever you're interested in. But this is just one particular object, and yeah, so it doesn't look exactly like the alert content that we're gonna look at later, but I believe you get that if you actually like subscribe to the alerts. But yeah, so you get this light curve. It tells you some type of identification for the object. And this should be the same for different alerts of the same object. But one note about this particular interface, you'll see that these are magnitudes. This particular object does have negative fluxes, so that's not exactly represented in the magnitudes, but if you switch to flux, you'll see that the object is actually decreasing, and this is all over the span of one night. So this particular object produce an alert, and you can find that they attempt to classify this object, and you'll see that they provide the image stamps. And then I'll also show you what it looks like on the Antares broker. Yes, that is the DA object ID. So this is the same DIA object as in the that we were just looking at in Alerce. And you'll see that it also has the light curve. It has different information. So different brokers might interest you for different reasons. But yeah, so one thing, Antares provides the different alert IDs, and this is actually what you'll need in order to retrieve it from the Rubin Science platform, not the DIA object ID. So I'm just going to copy this. Does anyone have any questions so far? about any of the things that I mentioned, including the events. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna show you how to retrieve the contents of an alert packet using the portal. So we go to the Rubin Science platform at data.lsst.cloud, and I'm already signed in. So I'll just go to portal here. And you'll see that one of the tabs here is the alert viewer. This is super simple, so it won't take very long. And we already provide some examples, but I'm gonna just put in the alert ID that I put in the chat. And then you just click load. And this is the yeah. Yes, that's what you'll actually need. So you see that there's three different panels. Here is what I showed when I said like the alert packet contents. This is what I was one of the things I was talking about. You get the DA source ID. It also says alert ID up here. It also gives you the DIA object ID, which is the one that we were seeing in the alert brokers. In Yeah, I'll also show you an example for a different kind of object that shows you different content here. But on the right, you can toggle between the light curve and also the table. But these are all just like for the past 12 months. And then you'll see here the science image or the visit image, the template that was used, and then the difference image. So you see here as the template here, the particular object that we're looking at was actually fainter than the template. So you see here that that's shown with darker parts of the image. But I believe you can also manipulate these images as you would in all of the different, you can check out our other tutorials on how to change like the scale and so on. But one more thing, I'll show you a couple more things. One, you can use this table to find other potential alert IDs. So for example, if you go to the table and you sort by flux, um, you can find the DA source ID for when the source was the faintest. And I checked, and not all of these will actually be available as an alert. So don't be concerned if you can't find anything. But I just grabbed the alert ID for when the DA source ID for when the source was the faintest, and that does have an alert packet. So you can actually go back and retrieve what information you had in the past, and you'll see that this is just like one little part of that light curve that we were looking at. But that's one thing that you can play around with. Um, and then another thing I was just going to show you real quick is one of the examples that we provide here does contain what you might expect for a solar system object. So you can see information from MPC board. And then also a little useful, you can see all of the recent things that you have looked for in the past. But yeah, so that's the alert viewer in the Rubin Science platform portal. Any questions on this? Okay. If not, then I'm gonna hand it over to Jeff, who's gonna show the alert retrieval service using the notebook.
Okay, thanks, Gloria. Yeah, and you all, if you have questions at any point, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll be happy to pause and answer questions at any point. Oh, I do see one in the chat. Was the alert viewer released recently? Yes, this was fairly recent, like within the past few weeks that we made that available. Sorry, let me just sort out my windows here and okay. So yeah, so I'm going to show you a way to access alert packets from within the notebook environment. So again, go to data.lsst.cloud, the science platform, and you'll want to log into the notebook. Um, Keep the recommendeds. Um, just a note that that your typical uh, let's say workflow for searching through alerts, finding the sorts of objects that you want, doing scientific analyses. Most of that you'll want to be doing with the brokers themselves, um, in part because they'll have aggregated everything based on the DIA object ID, which is the uh, you know think of it as corresponding to the astrophysical object. They will provide all kinds of ancillary products like Gloria sort of showed you before, lots of calculated features based on the light curves, cross matches to other data sets, a variety of things. So your typical, working with um, with alerts will typically be through the brokers. And so what we're showing you, this retrieval service and the alert viewer is meant as I have a particular historical alert that I want to um, look up, and this gives you a way to pull those up. But this is not the typical way you would do your science, I should say. So think of this as it literally is the archive, and you're just saying, give me that alert as it was sent out. So we're going to go here to note in the tutorials menu. There are a few prompt tutorials. So I'm going to pull up in 101 Alert Archive, the alert retrieval service. Okay, and we wait patiently. Did I click it? Uh-oh. Well, that was very weird. Okay. Let's try again. Uh-oh. I have no idea why it's doing that. I have a fallback plan if needed. Yeah, okay. One more try. And if this doesn't work, actually, there are multiple fallbacks. Okay, good to know. It's just me that's broken, not the platform itself. Okay.
It's not
Um,
working for me either.
ex it is working for you, Bob?
It's not working for me
It's
either.
not. Oh,
Same as
weird.
you.
Seems like it was just a little hiccup though, and now it loaded again. Hopefully if you try again, it'll work again. It'll work for you, Bob. All right, sorry for the hiccup, but yeah, so this is going to demonstrate the same thing, the workflow being I have the DS source ID, and I want to go grab the alert packet that um, was issued for that particular DS source. Oh, and one other thing to note, if we ever say alert ID, there isn't actually a thing that we officially call the alert ID. That is always the DS source ID, the difference imaging analysis, DIA, DS source ID. So it's easy to say alert ID when it really is the DS source ID. You can even see we say it in the text of some of this. Okay, so the alert packets are just those files that have all of the measurements and metadata and everything that Gloria told you about. For your time domain science, again, as I said, you mostly want to use the brokers. So this is really when you want the contents of a single alert packet and you know the data source ID. And I'll show you one other tutorial if we have time, briefly. And let me Propeller Plus this a little bit to make it a little bigger. Okay, so this will go through 3 different ways of reading. Is that in the header here? No, it comes after. The native format is called Avro, and so you'll see how to read them in this sort of native alerts format, and then we'll also see reading them in JSON and in FITS. So the most important thing here, besides those ancillary packages you need, is importing the RSP client and this get service URL, which you use then to instantiate the service, where you say get service URL and you feed it alerts and prompt, and then you instantiate the RSP client like this. And basically, since you're within the notebook service, this does all the authentication and knows how to make the connection to the databases. And then we set up some plot colors. And so, yeah, this is the same ID that Gloria was using. So we will look at that same object. This is, again, a DS source ID that we will use for lookup. Okay, so the Avro is these object container files. It's the actual format that the alert packets are transmitted to the brokers in. So it's a way to see it exactly as it was transmitted to a broker. And we use this client.get. We pass it remember the URL is the thing that we got from the get service URL. In fact, here we can even plot it and you can see what that is because we already retrieved it. We can print it. So we're going to pass it that URL. And then all we have to pass it otherwise is this dictionary that passes ID as that alert ID, the DS source ID. And then this is just saying client get that alert. And so this last line just says, show me what that response was. I think the important part here is okay. That says good, thumbs up. And so now we have the response from the retrieval service. Now we're going to use this fast Avro reader. And we basically just stream all of the bytes of that into this fast Avro format. And you can then extract the schema, which we'll see here. This just shows you the keys of that schema. So type, name, fields. Here we'll even print them out just so you can see what that all looks like. So this is everything that's in the file. So you can see under type record, that is not super meaningless or meaningful. The name is not super meaningful. It's the fields that you're really going to want, right? So this is going to have all of the things like observation, reason, target, name, RA deck, etc. So we'll get into more of that, but that's just to show you. So you can extract those records. This, for example, extracts things as a list and then just grabs the first record and plots or prints the keys for that. So this says now each of these is like sort of a little separate table within that, or I guess not table. Some of them are tables, some of them are just this DS source ID. For example, is just one entry. So for example, we can go here and just print record and then give it the key So data source ID, observation reason, etc. So you can see this is in the Cosmos field. And this again gives you that data source ID that we use to retrieve it. And then you can go and actually find more information from this other element in the dictionary, the DS source. So if we ask for that DS source record, it retrieves lots of information. But for example, we can print here the band, the time of the observation, the midpoint of the observation, PSF flux and errors. And there you go. You can see it was observed on this date. As Gloria pointed out, it has a negative flux in the difference image, and it was in the I band. So these, like I was saying, the DS source ID is just has just a single entry, but DS source is actually a table with lots of information in it. Likewise, these previous DS sources and previous DS force sources are tables containing a bunch of information. And so the next section shows you how to extract the light curve, because in each alert packet, a light curve is included with the history of this DIA object for the past year. Again, this particular object we're showing you was observed many times just in one night. So I think all of these data points are from just a single night, but the idea is the same. So you can retrieve these previous DIA sources, but you also need to retrieve the current one in addition, because it won't be part of the table with the previous DIA sources. And so what this does here is it just extracts as a pandas data frame the DIA source and the previous DIA sources, and then just concatenates those into a single table. I can even show you what that looks like just for fun. And then we're going to make a plot of a light curve. So you see we got 176 rows, and there's all kinds of data, 98 columns worth of information about it. So this is the previous history of that object. And so then to plot a light curve, you can just, in this case, loop over the different bands and color code them differently, and then just plot the midpoint MJD and flux. And that might look like a familiar light curve to you. And now you can see this has the benefit, unlike in the portal, you can actually color code the observations by the band that they were observed in. That's very helpful in understanding why, for example, this cluster of points was suddenly higher than the others. It's because it's in a different band, not because the object actually brightened suddenly. Okay, you can also retrieve the image cutouts. You remember seeing those in the alert viewer. You can retrieve those. Those come along in the alert packet. And so they each have a separate record. There's the science cutout, the template cutout, and the difference cutout. And then, so this just extracts the three of those into this list, and then it loops over those. And you can see here, it extracts the actual data using the FITS package, because these are just little FITS files, and casts it into this CCD data, and then actually plots it using MShow. And so there you see, go back up there. There you see the science template and difference image. Again, you can see it's sort of dark colored, so it was a negative difference, meaning the science object was actually brighter than the template. Or did I do that right? So in this way, you could manipulate these in your standard sort of plotting ways. Like for example, if you wanted to set the scale of each of these stamps to be the exact same scale, you could do things like that because you have the FITS files or the FITS. You've extracted the FITS from the alert packet. Okay, so that is we're going to move on, and that shows you how to extract a light curve. There is also either the dia object, which is, remember, that's what's actually the index that you use to find the ID you use to find things from the alert broker. So the record also contains that dia object, or if it's a solar system object, it'll have SS source and MPC orbits information. There's a quick demo here. Usually you don't need to just retrieve the schema. You'll probably just want all of the data. But if you wanted to know, this shows you how you can do it, where basically you just append /schema to that URL. And then this will just extract that as JSON, and then you can access name, etc. Again, you may not use this, but in case you do, that information is here. You can extract just the stamps. You don't have to grab the whole alert packet. Again, you can do that by just appending cutouts to the URL. And then the plotting here is just the same as it was before. It plotted them in a different order this time. This time it has the difference on the left, science image, and the template here. So you can just retrieve only the stamped images if you'd like. Okay, so that was the Avro format. That's the native format of the alert packets. Now we'll extract them as JSON in case that is your fancy. So you see the only thing that you're going to do differently here is you're going to say in the client.get, you're going to say response format JSON. And then that should retrieve things that look very similar to what you saw before, just in a different format. So again, you can just print the properties of those records as we did before. You can see it's the same thing. I'm not going to plot the light curve because it's the exact same thing that we did before. So you have to do one extra step if you retrieve it as JSON to extract the image stamps, because then they're byte encoded, and you have to do an extra step to sort of decode those. But again, you can uncomment this and execute it if you are interested. And then finally, the last thing that this notebook demonstrates is how to retrieve the alerts in FITS format. And this will return to you a FITS file with multiple extensions. So you'll have the primary extension, but then you'll have the alert extension. You'll have like DS source, force photometry, SS source, etc. And so again, to retrieve this, the main difference is just response format FITS. And so then you can treat it as you always would a FITS file. You can do this. You can use fits.open to extract the HDU, that's the header data unit list, and see, and then you can see these are the extensions that are a part of that, as we expected. And you can go and actually view one of those, like, so the primary extension is very basic. It will show you, these are all commented out by default, but I'll show you an example here of, let's skip that part. Let's go to the alert extension, and we can uncomment these. So if you grab it, you can say HDU equals, you grab from that list of the alert extension, then you say data equals HDU.data. And this just shows you extracting a few columns of that. The length of it is 85. It had this again is our familiar data source ID, and it was in the Cosmos view. So you're welcome to experiment with these other cells. I'm going to skip past them for now, because it's just showing you a different way of accessing the information before. But this last bit, I did want to show you that the SS source extension, if we look at that for the previous one, in fact, let's even try it. It might take a second, but we're just going to try it on the fly here. Because it's not an SS source, it's not a solar system object. It shouldn't have anything in the SS source. Yeah, so you can see the records are there, but they're all empty, because it's not a solar system object. So this will only have information in it if it's a solar system object. So then let's look at one that does have that information populated. This one is a known solar system object with this alert ID. That is the same one I think that Gloria used. Oh, it's a different one. Oh, but you have it in the notebook, so we're good. And again, we're just going to do the same fetch in the FITS format. But now when we look at, we do the exact same thing that I just did to show you that the other one was empty. But here we're going to extract it and see that it is not empty, the SS object ID. Let's do this for the previous one. Where did I do that? Here. Oops. If we do that here, you see it was empty. For this one, because it is an actual solar system object, you see that it has an SS object ID. And we can uncomment this to see all of the columns that are in that. This is standard sort of solar system information about its ephemeris, about its heliocentric and topocentric positions in the solar system, for example. And so you can extract these from that file very simply. Let's see, what are we, 9:40? I'll pause here and first see if anyone has any questions, and then I might show you one more thing for more information.
Hi, I had a question.
Yes.
I'm Pramod Gupta from the University of Washington. So my question is that I did try out this notebook earlier, and it worked fine within the cloud. And then I tried to do these steps on my Linux computer, and at step 2, it ran into some trouble about some Nublado, some JSON file. So I was wondering, are there any? So it's because it probably needs some authentication. Yeah. So I was wondering, are there any tutorials describing how to do that, like on an independent computer as opposed to this cloud?
Yeah, there are. I'm not sure about the alert retrieval service itself, but we do have many. Let me see. If I go to, for example, we do have many data preview 1 tutorials of how to use the API to access data using like PyVO or Topcat, things like that. So we do have, and the main, oh, and I should also point you to, if you go to rsp.lsst.io, This is the documentation for the Rubin Science platform itself. And there in the user guides, it actually has an API guide. And this is where you will, it has information about what you can do, but the main thing is it'll link you to the authentication part where it teaches you how to get the access token so that you can access information in the science platform via API. I don't believe, I think because the alert viewer itself is a service. I'm not sure if that service will be available via API itself, but but most of the data that you can access should be available. And so you should be able to, you just will have to figure out how to, and I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how to, like if we look at what this client looks like, you might have to do some authentication that tells you, yeah, see, this kind of assumes that you're within the RSP, I think. There's some, as you ran across, like it said something about Nublado, which is like our internal name for the RSP. So there are some things that are sort of hard coded in there that you would need to pass some arguments to the client, because as it says here, it uses knowledge that's present in this Jupyter Lab instance to configure the authentication and the base URL that it uses. So that is a question that we can totally answer on the community forum. I think I saw that you had posted earlier, and so if that hasn't got a response yet, I'll make sure that you get a response today about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that's very useful.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, so one other thing I want to show you really quick. I'm not going to go through this tutorial in detail. I just want to show you that it exists, so that if you want to learn more about the alert packets. So again, this is in the prompt tutorials. Many more are coming soon, but because we don't have the prompt products database available yet, there are only a couple here about the alert packets. But this one, the 201.1, is about the contents of the alert packets. Oh, good, and that one worked for me. So you can actually see this is fairly extensive tutorial, and it goes through the how to retrieve the packets, and to examine the schema, all of the records within each one, and then to look up information about the associated object. I can just actually go ahead and run it and then just show you briefly. So I just wanted to point this out to you as a more information source. And so this one actually uses a known type 1a supernova and a main belt asteroid. So it has the IDs for those two. And then again, this looks familiar. You just pass the ID to that client URL. And then I'm going to skip past all of this really quick and say, you can go, this is what I want to get to, is that you can go and actually retrieve the DIA object that it is associated with. And the solar system object, I think you get, oh yeah, here are the light curves. These are the fun part. So you can see the light curve for the supernova. And this is demonstrating that you can extract this in two different ways. You can extract, you have the previous forced photometry as well as the the difference image photometry. So this is showing you two different versions, and it has some advice about when you might want to use each of those things. So I'm gonna not go through this anymore. Here's, other than to show you, like, here's a nice way of displaying the image stamps for the supernova. You can see the galaxy here, nobody home in the middle, and the science, you get this bright object, which is the supernova, and here is the main belt asteroid, not present in the template at all. And I'm going to stop right there. If anyone has any more questions, I'm happy to take those before we wrap up.
I had another quick question, which was the initial tutorial you showed us. You had some particular dia source ID. So how was that
Yes.
selected? It was just some random thing, or you deliberately selected it because of some specific reason?
Yeah, we selected that one because it has a nice looking, well populated light curve, but that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. Where is that? I printed too much to the screen. There we are. No, I skipped it, didn't I? Sorry, there's a link in here that I was going to use. Here. So here's a link to the object, to the object in the Alerce broker. I'm actually going to look it up in the you'll find that if you look around at the brokers, they all have features that are more or less useful. In this case, I think it's much easier to find contributing DS source if I just go to the Antares broker. So antares.norlab.edu. I am not positive that I know how to extract it from Alerce, but you can, if I mouse over, you can see this measurement ID that it shows. That is the DS source ID that you would use to look up the alert. But let's go do it in Antares instead. If I enter that, this is the object that Gloria was using as a demo, or that we were both using, I guess. And here you see that familiar light curve. And you can do either, you can from the locus properties, you can grab the ID from there, or you can grab it actually shows you all of the alerts corresponding, all 176 of the alerts. So you can actually go and click on this little eyeball here and view that alert. And you have to scroll a bit. But under LSST DS, is it DS object or DS source? I forget now. Yeah, it's going to say DS source ID. There we go. So then you can get the ID. And this is for, I just randomly picked this one observation. And then if I go back to the alert viewer, for example, and enter that one, it will show me a snapshot of what we knew about that object as of that particular observation. It looks like it was one of the latest ones, but not the exact one that we looked at before. So the main answer to your question is that from one of the brokers is the most likely place where you would find the source ID of the alert that you specifically want to look up.
Okay, thank you, man.
Sure thing. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, thank you all for attending today. Of course, as always, feel free to post on the community forum, community.lsst.org. And we look forward to seeing you at future science assemblies. Thanks.